Hey folks, Dave back here talking more APBA hockey, and today I got a good one. I got a good one for you today. Today, what we're going to do is we are going to show you 4 ways to make APBA hockey faster and easier. Okay. Now, if you play Apple hockey and you're happy with the way you play it, don't change anything. This is not for you. But there's some new players that have been playing, and I get a lot of questions about Apple hockey. I did a whole breakdown of what I deciphered from the rule book and community homebrews and my homebrews in a video I did called Apple Thoughts, I think it is. So check that out. I clarify a bunch of things that in the book that I thought needed to be clarified. I also did some slow play Apple hockey the other day, so if you want to check that out. But quite honestly, this book here, it gets you up and running, and it's okay. But holy cow, it just feels like that different people wrote it and they jammed it in, and they come from different points of view and different angles and different ways to explain things, and it gets to be a nightmare. Apple hockey is a great game. It's just you got to take a machete and cut through the weeds of this book right here to find all the goodies and to make it work, okay? So let's get into a few different things here that I have here. Now, some of these are mine and some of these are from the community, but let's get right into it, okay? First thing I want to do is no more ODAI. Get rid of your ODAI, okay? The ODAI is now gone. It's a thing of the past. You don't need it anymore. Use this right here. Okay, this was again from the APBA Metrics. Mike Berger, I think it was from the APBA Metrics, and I'll put a link in the description. He came up with this way to get rid of ODAI and at the same time make individual defense more important, which is one of the things that APBA hockey didn't have, compared to some other things, because it was always a team defense. But in APBA baseball, how there's a couple of roles that you can look at the individual player. Well, this is kind of based on that. So what you do, okay, is I roll a third die. So I roll my red die and my white die to get me my play number, and I roll a third die. It could be any color. I use black, okay? If you land on something that's 1 to 7 or 10 to 20, which is your ODAI ratings, okay, what you do is look at the black die and then refer to this chart right here. So if you're the home team with the puck and you roll a 1, you're going to check the visitor right wing. You're going to check their defense. And below that, you see the defensive rating anywhere from 0 to 5. And that'll tell you if you're adding, subtracting, or not making any change at all to your roll. So, for example, you roll a 2. Okay, so your outcome's a 2. Doesn't happen often, but sometimes you do. So you roll a 2, and the black die comes out to be a 1. So you check the visitor right wing. He has a defensive rating of 3. So you add 1. So your 2 now becomes a 3, and that would still be considered a shot on goal. However, if you rolled, let's say, a 4, alrighty, and you added 1 to that, now that turns into a Soga. Or maybe it bumps it up all the way to 7 to be a block shot plus 2. So use this right here. Eliminate the ODAI. And I like getting rid of the ODAI because I don't want to have to set it up at the beginning of the game. It's one other thing that discourages me from playing APBA sometimes is when I have to set up the game and calculate the ODAI for all the lines. Now I can drop my guys down. I don't have to, if I want to mix and match lines, if I got a guy that's out, I don't have to recalculate ODAI. I just use this. So again, roll your extra die, look at the number 1 through 5. If it's a 6, follow along where the 6 is. So let's just say the visitor center has the puck and I roll a 6. I'm checking the home center for a defensive rating if I need to, if it's a 1 to 7 or a 10 to 20. So get rid of your ODAI. Use this. It took me 3 or 4 times, not games, just 3 or 4 times of using this here, 3 or 4 checks in a game, and I was flying through it. No ODAI. This is beautiful. If I roll a 1, chances are a 1 ain't going to change. So I mean, a 1 is a 1 is a 1. You're still going to get the shot on goal. But again, if you roll a 3 or 4 or 5 or a 6, that might bump it up. If you roll, again, somewhere between 10 and 20, it might be the difference between some kind of a pass and a turnover. So again, just roll your third die. Look at 1 through 5. Just see who you're checking. So again, if you roll a 5 and the visitor has the puck, you're checking home right wing. If you're the home team and you roll a 5, it's the visitor left wing. And again, a 6 is listed underneath the player who has the puck. Piece of cake to use. It took me all of a couple of minutes to figure it out, and I was off and running, and it just speed things up so much. So use this right here. No more ODAI. Use this right here, and I'll put a link to where you can get this in the description. Next thing up, penalties. Again, just get rid of this. Just take the penalty section out. Use this. This is another beauty way to do penalties. If you get a result of 33, 34, 35, 36, 60, all the way down to 40, it tells you what to do. And on his website, he did a whole thing on this about, all his percentages and how it worked out. So he did his research. This is not something he just did willy-nilly. He figured out, the percentage of coincidentals and neutral zone face-offs and the whole bit. And this is what I use. In the book, man, you're rolling forever trying to figure out penalties. It's so confusing. It really is. Just use this. The math works. It's so much simpler. So again, whatever number you roll, if it's a penalty, look here instead of the book. And then you might have to roll again to figure out what it's going to be. But again, if you roll 37, 38, 39, you roll to see if it's a fight or if it's coincidental minors. Beautiful. Piece of cake, done. So use this chart right here. If you need it, let me know, and maybe I can send you a copy of it. But it's over on APBA Metrics over on Mike Berger's site, and I'll put a link in the description. Use this for your penalties. Piece of cake. Next, number 3, fighting and coincidental. This is something I kind of come up with. This is kind of taken from the actual APBA book there, and I think it was the advanced fighting thing where, it wasn't necessarily the top guy, so you could actually figure out who you were going to fight. But again, you had to roll and roll and roll and roll to get within the major range to determine. That's the problem with the penalties and the assists and the whole bit in this game. You're rolling to see if you can get that, assist number or lower to fall into the assist cat. And you could be rolling all day. Just so use the penalty from Mike Berger. I use this chart here, so if I get in a fight, I roll the dice. Mostly it's going to be the 1 and 2 ranked major guy. So again, if you roll 11 to 35, whoever the highest major penalty rated guy on the ice is for the opponent, that's who you fight. You can still fight the goalie, and you can still fight the guy who doesn't fight that often with a 65, let's say, or a 66. So it's baked in, but the chances are less, but it's there. Same with coincidental. You get a coincidental penalty. Who am I going to get? I'm going to roll the die. I'm going to look over here, and it's going to tell me, look at the minor penalty rating for the player, and it's just sorted out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and goalie, and see who gets the penalty. It just saves so much time from rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling. So anyway, so I use this for fights and coincidental. That's kind of my own chart that I come up with here, but it's really taken from the book, so to speak. Alrighty, next is assists, and I know this is kind of small here. I don't know if I can blow that up at all without screwing anything up. I'm just going to leave it, so I'll just talk about it. So on the assists, what this is in APBA, on the team charts in APBA, it tells you their assists, games per assist per game, I guess it's called, and it's like 1.62 or 1.71. You'll see that on the team card. In the APBA hockey game itself, there's a little cheat sheet. Okay, it's a little small cheat sheet. And it tells you that if they're, 1.62, roll the dice, and 11 to 54 is 2 assists, and anything above that is 1 assist. So you roll your dice, you look at that chart there to figure out how many assists. Then you come here. The book had you rolling assists all day long. Come here. Roll your dice 11 to 66. If there's 2 assists, use the first column. If there's 1 assist, use the second column. So, for example, if I roll an 11 and it's 2 assists, you see it's 1 and 2. So it's the highest assist rating and the second highest assist rating. And what I do is that I don't include the goal scorer. I look at the other 4 guys on the ice, and I determine who has the best and the second highest assist rating. If there was 1 assist on the 11, it's a 1, and it just goes to the highest ranked player, the highest assist player. If you look at number 65, if you get 2 assists, it's the highest ranked assist player on the ice and the goaltender. So the goaltender can still get an assist on this as well. I use this for my assists. It flies. It just flies through my assists. I'm not rolling forever trying to find out who got the assist. It's a piece of cake. And then lastly, kind of a little bonus here, as I'll call this here, the matchup control chart. So if you got a matchup, you roll a 53. If you use matchups, which I do, sometimes, first off, there could be a tie, and the book doesn't explain what happens. If you go into the corner and you got, this guy's a 7 and this guy's a 7, what do you do? My homebrew rule is the home team wins in a tie. But on matchups, though, if you went into the corner against Larry Robinson, you'd never get the puck from him. So what this little matchup control chart does, it gives you a small chance for the player who loses the matchup control, the matchup play to get control of the puck. So, for example, you go into the corner and Larry Robinson's an 8, and the guy coming into the corner is a 7. So Robinson is +2. If you roll the dice here on the chart, if you roll a 2 or a 3, the guy that lost that matchup will actually win the battle. Okay? So that's how this chart works here. So again, 6-12 is the winner, but there is a small chance that the loser is going to come away with the puck, especially if he's a -1. He's got, 2-4, and if he's at home, he's got 2-5 to steal that if he's a -1. So I use that, and I use that for any kind of matchup at all, whether it's off the matchup shot, whether it's one of those dump in where you go into the corner and you fight for the puck, and then you pass it in front to see. So you're checking the C level, the C rating, and then the I rating on a dump in on a line change. I still use that for this too. So I always give the lesser player a small chance to steal that puck, and I think that adds some variety to the game. So that's my little bonus tip here, is to use that as well. So anyway, that is that. It's a little APBA hockey talk, and hopefully this helps out. Hopefully it helps out, because some people are having problems with it, some people are new with it. But here's 4 ways to make APBA hockey faster and easier. I got a way to get rid of the ODAI. I get instant penalty results. I get instant fight and coincidental results. I get instant assists, and then the little bonus thing at the end with the matchup. And this, my APBA games go like this now compared to the way they used to go. I couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't go by the rules in the book anymore. So anyway, hey, I'm Dave. I hope this helps out. I hope you play some APBA hockey. It is a fantastic game. It really is. It needed some love. It needed some polish. It needed some TLC. And hopefully that's what I'm giving here on the channel. Hopefully your APBA hockey experience is better with some of these things. Again, they're not all my ideas. I'm just kind of presenting what I found that makes my game better. So anyway, hey, I'm Dave. Talk to everybody later. Bye-bye.